Hi. It's your girl Ashley, aka the Widow, and welcome. Today we actually, got a little bit of news, something that we've all kind of been questioning, basically about Sony and how Sony Spider-Man films are set up. Well, we had that distinction now, and there's an article from the MCU Direct that we are gonna go over. Thank you all for watching. If you wouldn't mind, please don't forget to like and subscribe, and let me know your thoughts down below about all of this. Do you have faith in all of these different Spider-Man worlds that they have going on over here at Sony? So I'm gonna pull up the article right now, and we're gonna go over it right now, guys. So again, like I said, the article comes from MCU Direct that we're going to be going over today. Again, I have not read this, so we read it together. I react to it here with you, and so here we go right now. So it says Spider-Man. Sony confirms 3 different branches for its future Marvel movies. It says the Spider-Man's popularity remains high as ever, moving further into the 2020s, thanks to multiple movie universes utilizing the web slinger on the big screen and small. Sony and Marvel teamed up to deliver the biggest movie of 2021. What was that movie? Of course, we all know it's Spider-Man No Way Home, of course. While Sony also works solo on its own batch of Spidey films and a couple different continuities. Over the next couple of years, the studio behind the friendly neighborhood Spider-Man has several new projects set to make their mark on the big screen to keep their hero going. While Tom Holland's Spider-Man 4 in the MCU is still coming out at some point, the animated Spider-Man Across the Spiderverse, along with Kraven the Hunter, Madam Web, and a lot of the set is set for the premieres of the 2023 alone. And we also know, according to Multiverse of Movies, shout out to Isaac. Yeah, he's telling me that there's going to be a Morbius 2. That's not going to happen. But I think we might see Morbius again, but unfortunately, maybe not in his solo film. With all this new material coming from Sony, there is still lingering questions of how these different stories exist alongside one another. Now coming from recent reports that gave an update on both Spider-Man 4 and Madam Web. In the same report, Sony CEO provided some clarification on just how everything works with managing it all. Okay, so, and then because we know that we have Into the Spider-Verse coming, it was recently delayed, but I'm really excited for that. Like, to me, that is like top tier, Spider-Man film, and the animation is amazing. But anyway, it says a report according to Deadline, Sony Pictures CEO Tom Rothman explained how the company categorizes its Spider-Man related projects. Rothman revealed that Sony groups Marvel business into 3 categories based on the current and future movies that they encompass. 1, animated Spider-Verse trilogy, which we just talked about, right? That I just said I'm so excited. To me, that's like peak level Spider-Man right now. It says, according to Rothman, and this is a direct quote, he says, we're currently at work on 2 Spider-Verse sequels to our Oscar-winning nominated movie with Phil Lord and Chris Miller, which we know that's coming very, very soon. 2, the Tom Holland-led Spider-Man movies, co-produced by Marvel Studios. Rothman hopes that the whole group of cast and filmmakers, including Holland, Zendaya, and director John Watts, will return for the 4th installment. 3, Sony's Spider-Man universe, the live-action movies, which are adjacent to the Spider-Man universe, with upcoming movies that include Aaron Taylor Johnson starring in the Kraven film releasing next year, as well as the Madam Web movie set to start filming imminently. Are you all excited for the Madam Web? At first I was willing to be like with Kraven. I was like, we'll see. But after seeing Venom 1, which I wasn't really on board with it, but I didn't think it was like horrible. I just thought it just like felt like some of the jokes and some of the things that were happening in the film seemed like it was out of time to me, and it just really felt like it was a downgrade with Tom Hardy and his performance as an actor. And I hated Venom's voice. there was just so many things, and sorry about Venom, in the first one, but I forgave the first one because I went into the second one thinking, oh, here comes Carnage, here comes Shriek, here comes these cool characters, and it's going to be this amazing, more darker, a slightly more serious tone in nature. If it wasn't goofier than the first, it was, and then they build them kind of like, these romantic comedies, which I get because it's the relationship between Eddie and Venom, and like they're cohabiting and like having this relationship. And it's really the two of them because we see that his personal relationships don't work out. His romantic relationship doesn't pan out the way he wants it to. So his sustaining relationship, his intimate relationship that he truly has is with Venom, which is like a cool concept, but I just feel like they just miss the mark completely. So I've really said, and I'm standing behind this, and this is not me like throwing things out there, that I have no interest or no desire or no plans to go see Venom 3 in the theater. And then Morbius, like I feel like Morbius, they cut that film down so much. And then it just seemed like we were just rushing to the next thing just so we could hit these beats to make this thing happen so we could get to this arc for this character, but it just didn't make sense. And then the post-credit scene was absolutely nonsense. But there's that. And Craven, we'll see, right? But then you're making all these films with these Spider-Man villains and there's no Spider-Man. So and who is going to be that Spider-Man for this universe if it's not Tom Holland, right? And so I'm curious about that. And then going back here where it says the Spider-Man stories are 3 trenches for Sony. While the report doesn't confirm that these universes exist separately from one another, it helps make it clear how Sony focuses attention on the movies across its own Spider-Verse. This also gives fans a better indication of the distinction between all 3 core stories Sony is telling, both with Marvel Studios and it's on its own. Although there's no indication whether these universes will ever cross over with one another, making sure everything is organized behind the scenes is especially important considering how many characters and plots Sony has at its disposal. Now, the wait continues to see how Sony expands on these stories over the coming years. With plans already set as far as 2024, Tom Holland had his own Spider-Man trilogy confirmed for development within the MCU. And with the second part of the Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse and a third solo Venom film, the studio will remain among the heavy hitters for the foreseeable future. This is according to the article. Venom 1 and Venom 2 did really well at the box office. And Into the Spider-Verse, I think it's going to really hit, its stride at the box office the second time around. The first one, didn't fare as well, but it found a great audience on Netflix and things like that. And that's where a lot of people were able to see the first Into the Spider-Verse film, right? So, and I feel like that second one is just going to blow up and people are going to be so excited to see it and rush to the theaters. And I think it'll do really well. And unfortunately, Isaac, from what it sounds like here, for now, it sounds like there's no plans for a Morbius 2 at this time, Isaac. We might see him again in the future, but in a solo project, I don't think that's going to happen. Yes, we're going to get a Venom 3. Venom 1 and Venom 2 did really well at the box office. And despite my feelings and my opinions about the Venom films, they do have an audience and people do show up for those films. And I know a lot of people did show up for that post-credit scene, but the first one made, 700, and 50 plus million, or roughly. I don't have that number in front of me right now. And then Venom 2 made upwards of over 950 million at the box office. I think it was like 966 million. I'm not really sure, but I know it was in those ranges for both of these movies. Let me know your thoughts down below. Which Sony Spider World or universe are you more excited for? Is it Tom, or is it Into the Spider-Verse, the animated world? Or is it this Sony Marvel adjacent world? Let me know your thoughts. Again, I'm your girl, Ashley, aka The Widow.